Right now, I'm going to teach you a meditation for anxiety exercise for social and general performance improvement. That's only 2 minutes, so you can finally stop stress and anxiety and take control of your life. This meditation for anxiety technique is the 4th of 7 in this week's series. It's super simple and you will know how well it works for you straight away. After the 2-minute meditation for anxiety, I'll also discuss how to improve work-life balance, review the brain chemistry of happiness, and outline what types of experiences are best, and guide you in integrating everything you learned today in a special finale exercise. I'm Speed Psychologist and best-selling author Aleks George, and we're now in session. First, give yourself a current mood rating, 1 being very low to 10 being very high mood, and a second 1 being very low to 10 being very high stress/anxiety rating. Just go with whatever mood number or stress anxiety number that first comes to mind. Now, I need you to promise me that I will have your full attention and best effort for just 2 minutes, okay? If you are sure that you can do that right now, then get ready. Also, please note, make sure you are in a safe place, and if you feel unusually uncomfortable during any exercise, stop immediately and go have a drink of water. So, are you ready? Really? To feel better? Just 2 minutes from now. You sure? Great. Let's begin. Sit up tall, shoulders back, head up, and close or shield your eyes if safe to do so. Now follow my simple instructions. Bring all your attention to a calm place in your body. All of it. Fully focus on this place. There may be places that are not calm. That is fine. Let them be. Still, focus on the calmest place. Only that place. Right there. Only this place. You don't have to change it. Simply notice, focus, and let go of everything else. Like leaves floating down a river, or clouds evaporating as they pass by. Allow your thoughts and any other feelings to rise and recede, to come and go in their own time. You must trust in this place. It is just and robust. Choose to lose any tension or apprehension, any anxiety, worry, or stress, and exclusively experience the success of simply being present in this place, safe in this moment and the next. Allow this feeling to expand all the way into each foot and hand until it does demand you stand tall and speak true when that moment comes. Trust this place. You must. It is just and robust. You will stand tall and speak true. Stand and speak, tall and true. That is you, all of you, only you, when the moment comes. That's right. That's right. That's it. We're done. Simple, right? Easy, hey? Feeling better? I'm sure. Really, check in now and review if your mood and stress anxiety scores have improved. If you gave me your full attention and best effort, then I bet they have. How much did they improve? 10%? 20? 30? 50? Or more? And in just 2 minutes? If your scores didn't improve, that's okay. You may just need a few more repetitions, or may find it easier to benefit from a different 2-minute brain exercise. I will release 7 related meditations over the week, and they're always just a couple of minutes.
Each exercise builds on the last, and they become easier to do and more effective as you get used to them.
Here's a quick former client quote of the day. Alex's 2-minute confidence strategies were perfect. I learned about how to change my body, my voice, and what to say so I could take control and not be manipulated anymore. It worked. I've never felt stronger. Thank you, Pat.
Before we move on, I want you to really consider how your life could be better by consistently using these kinds of exercises. What would it be like to be in control and unaffected rather than being controlled by the news and social media, work bullies, and negative people? What would it feel like to have greater peace of mind and focus so you can perform at your best and feel good about who you are and what you do? In a moment, I'm going to answer 1 or 2 modern psychology questions from the community. To connect with me and the community, just go to 2minutebrain.com and join the email list. You can, of course, like, rate, subscribe, and follow me on this channel, but to enjoy free giveaways like my best-selling books and programs, which are only available to subscribers through the website, and to personally ask me and get an answer to your own important psychology question, it must be through my free-to-join email list.
Questions like, why has the pandemic had such a negative effect? Why does happiness never last? And why do we always criticize ourselves the most? All of which I will answer in a future session.
The only way you will be able to ask me your question is by reply emailing me once you're on the list. The sooner you join, the more bonus goodies you'll get, like early access benefits to the 2-Minute Brain app currently in development that takes exercises like the one you just experienced and connects them sequentially with others into fantastic brain-flowing peak performance experiences. It will allow you to become your own mental health and peak performance DJ. Sound good? Really good? Almost too good? Then go sign up now and get all the latest updates from the 2minutebrain.com email list.
Okay, riddle me this, Bat Psych. Do you prefer to travel by planes, trains, or automobiles? Hard to say. I'm still holding out for flying cars. Now, the actual question is, how can I evaluate my work-life balance? Now, this will surprise you, but actually measure it. So actually measure how you spend your days, your week. So do a pleasure, meaning, and importance rating. So 1 out of 10, every hour or so, what was the activity you did, and the things you were doing, and how much pleasure did it give to you? So 8, 9 was it high, 1 is low. How meaningful was it? Same thing. And how important was it? And then, you measure your total hours at work and also not at work. And you sort of see that, it's not that the hours at work need to be higher or lower. It really varies for each person. It's not about that they're equally balanced, playtime and not playtime and work time. It's just about an integration. So whatever works for you is fine. As long as there's enough pleasure, meaning, and importance overall in whatever tasks you're doing, then you're going to have better work-life balance. Now, you've got to be honest with yourself. Where is it too much and where is it not enough in terms of the things you need? You have to think of your life and the different things you need, your different hobbies or interests, kind of like another currency. So it's not just income. We often default to income being the main currency of life. If we're earning more income, we must be good. But that's ridiculous. What is your currency? How's that going? Your bank balance, if you like, in terms of your hobbies, in terms of your health, in terms of your relationship. So all of these things can be considered a currency that should be considered. Also, if you want to evaluate your work-life balance, here's a simple idea. Why don't you ask your family, friends, colleagues, get feedback from them. Ask them, do you think I'm balanced with my work and life, or do you think that it's imbalanced? And if so, why? So what's missing in your life? Because it may not be about balance, but a lack of something. So what is sacred and priceless in your life? It could be a creative pursuit, a hobby, even if it's just 1 hour a week. Adding this or subtracting something toxic, which is usually even more powerful, a work task, reducing time with certain people, may add a great deal to your life. So finally, are you trying to do too much too soon? Why the rush? You need to estimate often about 30 to 50% extra in terms of how long it's going to take you to do something important. Often overestimating what can be done in a week or a month or a year is what we do, but we often underestimate what we can achieve in 5 years. So just a kind of an idea to keep in mind. So, day to day, week to week, we often overestimate, but what we can do in 5 years, if we're consistent, we often underestimate what's capable. So the final thing I want to say about work-life balance is I've just mentioned all these practical ideas, but there's also the profound element of work-life balance, or just life. I call this the X factor, and that is, what is something that's so important to you, that's so sacred, that you have to have it in your life. It's just really essential, and you need to make sure you can find that. And even if you can only do it a little bit, then do it, because sometimes the X factor is worth many, many, many practical things in terms of how you feel inside. So people only think to do this and feel this, in terms of, if I tick the boxes, I exercise twice a week, tick. I take my wife out to dinner, tick. And they're ticking the boxes, but they're not really focusing on, as I said, more of an X factor sometimes, or just the exploratory experiences. Where you go somewhere and you do something completely different, and you aim to feel it fully. And so those are also crucial. So tick the boxes. As I said, you've got the PMI system. Think about what you want to add. Definitely think about what you want to subtract, which is even more useful in most cases. And also, what's that something special, something different, something unique, something that you don't normally do, that you need a little bit more of in your life to get stimulated in new ways.
Want to ask me your own question? Just go over to 2minutebrain.com and join the email list. At the moment, I'm personally answering people's questions pretty quickly, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on this channel. I'm happy to answer questions on mental health, such as stress, anxiety, mood, painful events, happiness, work-life performance, relationships, intimate, family, friends, kids, and of course the state of the world and why we do what we do. Before we continue, I want to explain what 2-Minute Brain is all about, because it's both as simple and not as simple as it seems. The first and most obvious goal is to offer the fastest and most practical methods to reduce mental health struggles and reach peak performance, so you can meet the demands of this often overwhelming and ultra-competitive modern world. The sad truth is, you do have to learn how to consistently be at your best, or you will be left behind. That's what these speed brain rewiring strategies are all about. These are the essential skills, but that's only the part of the iceberg that's above the surface. The second, much deeper goal is about members of this community reaching their highest forms of self-expression. Here, we are no longer talking about peak performance, but peak freedom. Good living is not just about productively functioning well. It's about wrestling with complex moral issues, paradoxical laws of nature, human contradiction, and seeking profound and immeasurable truths. This is where we dive deeply into the murky depths of existence and seek to free our self-expression. And in true 2-Minute Brain style, I'll also explore these topics just a couple minutes at a time via an impassioned monologue. So stick around if you want to spread your arms wide, crank up Celine Dion to volume 11, and safely explore rather than crash into the iceberg that is human consciousness and potential.
But first, another riddle for Batpsych. What do you think sci-fi storytellers of last century got the most wrong? Flying cars. So the question today actually is, neurochemically, is happiness that we experience from materialism the same as happiness we experience from socializing and sharing experiences with others? Well, material things are simply not as materially rich. The effect won't be as deep. Mirror neurons are not activated when you get something material in your hand or in your world. So there's no human facial expression. There's no feedback with another person. So enjoyment is always amplified when sharing with others. So listening to music on your own, that's good. But when you do it with
one or two other people, that tends to be more fun. When you do it with a bunch of people, friends, so forth, maybe a small venue, that's really fun. Or even like a massive stadium is usually even more fun, or at least moments of it are, right? So our experiences are amplified by others. And it's also harder to habituate to others. So the problem is when you get something, a material thing, you're playing with it, you're looking at it, you're doing with it day in, day out, and you kind of get bored of it, right? It's much harder to habituate to a person because there's much more variety in a person, right? The chances of surprise in an experience with them is so much higher. You can talk about anything, right? That's stimulating, especially if you get in sync with the person, you're having good conversation, or if you're dancing with someone or with others, a bunch of people, then you're syncing. And the more you're able to sync with something, and there's more surprise within that sync, there's more variety within that sync, then the more intimate the experience becomes. So now material things can be gamified, but it's still not as surprising and pleasurable as the unpredictability of others. So, even playing games with others is usually much more fun and unpredictable than playing games with a computer or something like that, where the algorithm always kind of makes it similar. And people raise the stakes. So the potential for pain and pleasure when you're dealing with others is higher. So it makes it more interesting. There's more adrenaline, because this could go either way. Am I having fun with this person? Is something going to go wrong? So all of the pleasure chemicals in your body and your brain, pleasure chemicals like dopamine, will be higher, right? When we connect with others, when we're dealing with them, those chemicals are amplified further, and the synchronization and the mirror neurons meaning that we see what it means that we're designed to copy each other and sort of sync with each other, then they all get higher, the dopamine gets higher, so you feel better. And people can do very weird, fun, surprising things, and also challenge you in unexpected ways, which you may dislike initially, but like even more as the situation progresses. So we are meant to socialize. It's in our tribal history and our blood and our brain. No material thing can ever show you affection and love and the enhanced synchronicity and looping that comes from that affection, that love. So no matter how well the programmed AI bot is, it's just not the same, and probably never will be the same as being with another person.
We're nearing the end of today's session. Soon, I will summarize it all and get you focused on using what you have found most helpful in one final, fun and fast meditative exercise. But before the finale, it's time for today's 2-minute monologue, which usually consists of a metaphorical poetic performance where I often intentionally don't give clear advice or answers. That will hopefully stimulate you to also explore and find your own deeper truths within and greater self-expressive courage. It's our 5th Pop Culture Wednesday. Today's brief pop culture discussion critiques the movie Coming to America 2 and outlines why bringing back a near-perfect story after 30 years and making it an incoherent, unimaginative, and formulaic mess is probably a bad idea. So here we go. Coming to America 2. And I've been reflecting on Coming to America 2, another iconic pop culture story destroyed with a ridiculous, decades later sequel. I would warn you about upcoming spoilers, but the movie is so rotten and formulaic that there's really nothing to spoil. There were a few good jokes that may have worked as skits, but the rest of the entire movie was just so ridiculous. The plot was so all over the place. It was madness. So Prince Akeem, who basically exudes class and cleverness during their first trip to America, was apparently drugged by his servant Semi and had an illegitimate son. Now right there you've destroyed everything charming and regal about Prince Akeem. The reason why the first movie is so funny is because everyone around Akeem, except for Lisa, of course, is wacky. But he never is. That's the comedic contrast. For him to do anything dishonorable, drugged or not, just doesn't work. After all, he is supposed to become a king, seeking a queen he can respect. And that's the greatest problem. Even after 30 years, there is no respect for females in the second movie. Now, there is a token respect, where at the end of the movie, the eldest daughter will be allowed to rule. And, that's great, but it's not really earned through the story. It's just sort of granted to her by her father, Akeem. The movie is supposed to be a comedy, but there is only one comedic female, being the mother of the illegitimate prince, but sadly, most of her lines are just over-the-top, cliched nonsense. Rather than bringing an illegitimate son back from America, why not have the daughter escape to America to seek true love like her parents, and to see the great mythical Queens, New York, and obviously the contrast that comes from that. This then forces Akeem to go back to Queens, undercover, to find her. Now, I didn't think very hard to make that plot, but already it's better than this one. Because why would that not happen? Because that would at least partially be a female-driven plot. And apparently women aren't funny. Even with the great Bridesmaids movie and some of the other movies with Melissa McCarthy in particular and Ali Wong, more recently, these were some great movies. It's better to terribly remake Ghostbusters and Ocean's 11 than let women have a real and unique story. The saddest part is the writers probably thought the movie was progressive. After all, the daughter will become queen, and Akeem's mother was referred to as the wisest of the family. Well, la-dee-da. What wonderful tokens and expressions of respect. However, I think most female actors, writers, and comedians would happily trade in those tokens to play real roles.
If you're having fun, make sure you like and subscribe and follow this channel, and also go to 2minutebrain.com and join the email list. Now, let's bring all of it meaningfully together in an integrative exercise that will conclude today's session. Sit up tall, shoulders back, head up, and close or shield your eyes if safe to do so. Now listen and follow along closely. Stand tall and speak true. Whenever you need to, you can always stand tall and speak true. Stand and speak tall and true. That is you, all of you, only you, when the moment comes. Now consider what you learned today about evaluating and improving your work-life balance. Things like actually rating your daily activities in terms of pleasure, meaning, and importance. Subtracting unstimulating activities. Reviewing achievability estimates. Finding a new creative outlet, or something else. Also now consider what you learned today about the happiness from sharing experiences compared to material happiness. Things like time with loved ones amplifies experience through mirror neuron activation and physical synchronization. People offer the highest variety, challenge, and love. Or something else. Of all these things, what most struck a chord and feels right? Envision how you will use this now and in the future, and notice how you will have changed looking back on this moment and the next, all the way until you are where you wish to be. Finally remember, to watch movies, read books, seek to be entertained by what truly celebrates and respects the higher potentials in us all. Allow all the lessons now to come together, to ripple through you, and now changed back out into the world. That's right. That's right. To connect with me and the community, just go to 2minutebrain.com and join the email list. You can, of course, like, rate, subscribe, and follow me on this channel, but to enjoy free giveaways like my best-selling books and programs, which are only available to subscribers through the website, and to personally ask me and get an answer to your own important psychology question, it must be through my free-to-join email list.
Questions like, why has the pandemic had such a negative effect? Why does happiness never last? And why do we always criticize ourselves the most? All of which I will answer in a future session.
The only way you will be able to ask me your question is by reply emailing me once you're on the list. The sooner you join, the more bonus goodies you'll get, like early access benefits to the 2-Minute Brain app currently in development that takes exercises like the one you just experienced and connects them sequentially with others into fantastic brain-flowing peak performance experiences. It will allow you to become your own mental health and peak performance DJ. Sound good? Really good? Almost too good? Then go sign up now and get all the latest updates from the 2minutebrain.com email list.
And I'll see you, all of you, whether you believe it yet or not, in our next session.